Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities that we normally do. I'm going to give you my financial opinions. We're going to work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that this guy follows. And if you guys need any help with anything, check out finding-value.com. That's where we go over individual sectors and companies, what I'm buying, what I think looks good coming up for the next 6 months, year, 2 years. So let's dive in. Let's see what's going on today, and I can give you my financial opinions. So today we've got the DXY, absolute selling pressure today, down almost a percent, down 0.91%. It brought us back to this big long-term support level, this white line going across here that we've hit multiple times in history. We hit it there, hit it there, hit it there, and we hit it all over the place here multiple times through history. So it's a very long, strong support level that we're hitting. And we did get a little bit of a bounce off of it. There's your bounce. There, boop, just a little bounce. Depending on where interest rates go, that's going to determine where the DXY goes. Is interest rates going to just go straight lower? Are we going to continue this fierce pace of selling pressure? I don't think so, but we could get a little bit of a bounce here where we bounce up and maybe roll back over, kind of a return type move off of this support level. Again, that's not a prediction. I'm just saying a potential pathway. Where this kind of first started falling apart were these large selling pressure days. And if you notice the way that this falls, basically you get a impulse move lower, small move up, impulse move lower, small move up. And that is what I'm looking at and evaluating in this. So we're probably going to go lower over the medium term or maybe even slightly longer term. But we could get a little bit of a bounce in the short term. Looking at yields, the 2-year yield, you can see that we are right on that support line. I drew that a while back. It came back below and then came back up throughout the day. So we launched lower here, and then we started coming back up. More than likely, this is probably going to head lower again. What generally occurs is you break out and then you do a retest. Did that do a retest all in one day? Maybe. Maybe, because here it is coming down and then we come back up in a retest. And a lot of the times what you'll see, and this is on a very short-term time frame, you can kind of draw this through and you'll see kind of a squeezing pattern up against into that resistance line. So again, I don't know if it's what we're gonna do here in the next few days, but I do think we're gonna head lower in the short to medium term. I think we're gonna head lower still over time. I'm not sure if we'll get a little bit of a bounce upward like this, which we very well could in the short term. So you could see a slight bounce over the next few trading sessions upward. We'll see what that looks like, and then the rollover with the DXY and the 2-year yield. The 10-year yield also getting smoked. There's your trend line. We tried to go above it, and it just fell on over. And I do think we have further downside to go in the 10-year yield. Same with the 30-year, further downside. We broke through that support region. We broke through, did a little retest, and then boom, we're heading lower. So again, lower yields look like they are in our future. That is important because that determines the pricing of assets. Lower yields do. Some people view this as bullish and other people view this as bearish. I'm in the latter camp. I think this could be bearish, and we'll talk about that during the question and answer session in more detail this Sunday at 5 p.m. that we're going to. TYX TNX ratio, you can see there was a little bit of a reversal here. We were coming on up, and we could reverse lower, as weird as that is. And we'll see what occurs. Generally, when the TYX TNX ratio goes up, the yield curve uninverts, and that's when you get gold and silver that just rocket fuel um, for a big move. Bond prices heading higher as expected with lower yields, and this does look like it will continue higher. Pretty strong. I call it the green army showing up. So here's your break to the upside, and it's been up ever since. And now we're starting to accelerate that pace with Powell coming out saying that he could potentially do some rate cuts out in 2024. So the U.S. 2-year, 10-year, the 10-year fell more than the 2-year, leading to the yield curve not really uninverting. It's staying inverted up here. Will that last forever? No. It'll uninvert at some point, and you could maybe even draw a line that looks like this on here, where it is squeezing up and we could get a potential fall and an uninversion of the yield curve. So that's what we're looking for, is that uninversion. The uninversion means that there could potentially be weakness in the market, and that's why Powell is cutting rates. This uninversion will also mean that gold, physical gold, should do quite well along with a lot of the other precious metals. So looking at gold today, up $53 an ounce, 2.7% roughly. And there we are moving on up. I still think this looks good to go higher over the longer term, but does it mean we go straight higher? I don't know. I mean, we very well could come back here again if it once decides to come back there. Not saying it can't. Silver up 6.67%. Nice big launch there, but we're still below the all-important trend line here. We haven't broken out yet. Will we break out? We maybe. We do have these very large rejection candlesticks, those big red candlesticks that we have at that trend line. So they're still there, and there is downside pressure coming from all this selling pressure. So we'll see how it reacts over the next few trading sessions. Platinum looks really good. This one looks pretty strong, bullish engulfing. Nice strong day today, up 4.8%. I think we are going higher in platinum. It looks very good. And then palladium up $144 today, up almost 15%. Like I said, I think this is trying to bottom, and we'll see what this does. Don't be alarmed if you get a little bit of a small down day next to this called the bloody nose, but it's looking good, and hopefully we'll start to work our way on up over time. XAU to gold ratio up 2.2%, kind of gapping up above that resistance line. This resistance line here that I've got drawn in. We're sitting right on top of it. We are at a critical point where we could break this longer downtrend line I call it the downtrend line for happiness for gold and silver mining investors. We break through that, I'm going to be the biggest bull in the world. Not that I am not already, but I do think that we could see some big moves in the gold and silver mining companies. The CRB index, I've got a flat reading here today. That's yesterday. It was probably up today. I don't know why this has lagged so much. But it looks like we are trying to put in a bottom here. And we'll probably I call it trampoline jumping, where we go up and down. And maybe put in some sort of pattern or whatever it is. And hopefully we can turn that around. We've got the CRB to S&P 500. That didn't update either, but this is yesterday's. It was down a little bit yesterday. GDX up, but again, we got this wick at the top. It wasn't a strong closing on the day. So there we are. We bounced off that support level, but we still have to break out of this flag pattern. We've got GDXJ also trying to do that. It's right, trying to break out of this pattern, and hopefully we can break and start running. SILJ is the same thing. We're right at that resistance trend line, ready to try to break and run. Crude oil up 3.25%. Is this the bottom that we've been looking for? I hope so. Strong day today, and I know a lot of people are very bullish on a lot of stuff. It looks very good, and we'll see if we can get some momentum and some traction here for a move higher. The only thing that concerns me is why is Powell, why is he lowering interest rates? Is there something in the market that is close to breaking, has broken, and then he's trying to basically reverse his stance? A lot of the inflationary forces from bank lending and the monetary side, they take about 12 months to 24 months to work their way through the system. And with home sales volume so low, we can still get a slowdown even if bank lending starts to accelerate in the short term. The stock market is forward looking and the economic kind of indicators are lagging. So just keep that in mind. TTF natural gas down 3.3%. Looks like this could even continue lower with the trading that we've got. Lots of big red candlesticks, bearish engulfing. So I think we could see further downside. Natural gas in America is up today about 3.5%. But this is at a really low level here, guys. Really, really low. And there's a lot of support in this general location here that we have with natural gas. We've got XOP. Yeah, you know me, up 3.5%. Not a bad looking day. We are underneath that neckline, the all-important neckline that we all want to break. We break that, I think we'll get a nice run out of XOP. And then OIH up 4%, pretty strong day today. Nice strong closing too. And again, let's hope that momentum can continue to the upside. And I think if we get strong movements in oil, this very well could move on up. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust down 0.29%. Small little down days, but that still looks good to go higher. The way that I determine that is the large green candlesticks and the lack of red selling pressure. The way that I call that is it's basically stair-stepping patterns. There are little flag patterns that occur, and when you don't have the selling pressure, you get the big green candlesticks, and it just stair steps higher, up and up and up and up until you get some sort of large selling pressure move. URA up 3.4%. Nice big move there, looking pretty good. Looks like it's trying to break through this little resistance zone, so that looks fantastic. We've got URNM. I know they've got these like distribution days, so there's also distribution which pulled this down lower. So we're still hanging on. It looks fantastic. URNJ, same thing, looks fantastic. TAN up 8%. With lower yields, these are very dependent on yields, and it looks like that will continue higher. So TAN looks good. COPX, another one that looks pretty solid, 3.3%. It is ripping higher, and it looks like that can continue to the upside. Lithium also heading higher. It looks to me with these double bullish engulfings that this is a bottom in the short term and that we could definitely head higher, along with REMX. It's the same setup. Broken down trends and some buying pressure. S&P 500, we're back up at that resistance level. Nice little doji candlestick. Now, we're getting to a level where this is going to be do or die up here for this. We've got lots of resistance in these charts here. There is the resistance. How big is this candle or trend line here? So we're coming up to resistance here. And that looks a little bit crooked. There's your resistance line. And we're going to see if this thing breaks through or if it rolls over. I know people think that the lowering of interest rates is going to send this to the moon, but that's not necessarily what history suggests if the yield curve uninverts. And that's where, I look at Powell and it's like, why are you lowering rates? He's not going to lower rates to send this to the moon. I think they see weakness in the market and he has to lower rates to try to slow that move down. So that's what is the next thing. Is this a double top? And it can also extend above this and fake people out and come back around. Remember, this is playing with fire here. You've got really high valuation levels in the S&P 500. The NASDAQ also not really advancing much today, and we'll see if this can break through those resistance levels. I'm very curious. A lot of people are very bullish. This is a turn lower, massive selling pressure through here. And the buying pressure has been a lot less muted on the right-hand side. Generally, they lower rates because of a problem in the system. So will this turn over? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll have to watch it over the next few weeks. KRE ripping to the upside. I do think there's going to be more loans coming from the bank sector. Also, all of their bonds are going up, back up in value, which is good. And maybe that's one of the decisions that they had to make, was that the banks were eating those losses. And if they were to lower rates, it would help relieve the losses, relieve some of those losses. But this looks good to continue higher, up quite a bit today. Could we get a return move? We could. We could. Emerging markets heading on up. That looks fantastic. Lower dollar, lower yields, higher emerging markets. That looks good to move on up. XHB really strong today, 5.5%. This thing looks ready to break out. If we break this upper trend line, which we may have already broken, let me draw it a little bit different here. You've got a strong resistance trend line here. So I would say that this is the actual trend line. We've broken it. This is your return move, and this is your big move up. So I think this thing's all-time highs. It's ready to rip for home builders. And this is also, we have a shortage of homes. I know there's some people that try to debate that, but good luck with that debate with the housing, the home builders making up new all-time highs here. Good luck with that. MOO also moving higher, 1.9%, looking fantastic. We're up against this resistance line coming across here, so we might get a little bit of resistance there. Copper looking good, 2.35, a little bit of a wick at the top, but we're still sitting on top of the trend line here. So we'll continue to watch that. Iron ore, slightly lower. Again, I think we're going to continue higher in the short term. For iron ore, we've got aluminum up 3%. Big day for aluminum. Look at that. Big, big day. A lot of the aluminum stocks were up quite a bit. So that's looking better. Baltic Dry Index was down. This might be a day delayed, but it looks like we're just coming in. I bet you we'll get a big move here, reversal, and then we'll come back and work our way back up. Newcastle coal down a teeny bit. Good spot to be looking. This is just a return move back to the base. This is generally where you want to be looking to purchase. Bitcoin up a teeny bit. It's hanging in there. We'll see what occurs here. Are we going to get a little bit of a bounce lower or some sort of pattern? We'll see. And then Ethereum's up a little bit. Again, we've got this large selling pressure day here, and it's not really bouncing too much. So maybe we've got a pattern that will develop or something. I don't know. Something like that. So that's what I'm seeing in the markets today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. We do have a Sunday 5 p.m. question and answer session coming up for members. And, today was a big day for a lot of people, I'm sure. I'm just curious to see why Powell lowered rates. If we see an uninversion of the yield curve, that's generally when things could occur to the downside. I know that seems counter to what everyone is thinking about today, but that's what I'll be watching. Watch that 2 and 10, see if it uninverts. If it starts to uninvert, there could be a slowdown or something in the market. Just an FYI. All right, guys, that's what I've got for today. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.